Jo, was geht, hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer neuen Folge von Tales of Arise. Es scheint dauerhaft überwacht zu werden, um sicherzustellen, dass sich Darkway Ich kann's... keine Ahnung, ich kann es nicht aussprechen. Gut, wir wollen, wir waren ja beim letzten Mal, ich habe vergessen, wie die Typen heißen. Wir wollen uns aber ein wenig umschauen hier auf der Plattform, beziehungsweise auf der Ebene. Beziehungsweise wir wollen uns noch unterhalten mit unseren Mates. Shion, bitte. Nice. Ihr habt mich wieder zusammengebrochen vorgefunden, mir aufgeholfen. Das weiß ich zu schätzen. Dank euch kann ich weiter forschen. Glückstrank, 5-mal erhalten. Nice. Kisara.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans, and the Great Spirit, and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helgan Quill and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
Okay, ja, Kisara. Wie soll ich das Ganze einordnen, was du jetzt gerade gesagt hast? Ja, Kisara war, fand ich, immer aus der Gruppe die, ich würde schon beinahe sagen, die neutralste. Ich weiß nicht, ob das ganz die richtige Bezeichnung dafür ist, aber sie war immer neutraler als alle anderen. Sie war nicht so verkopft und so starrsinnig, sie war offen für andere Lösungen. Und wenn jemand wie Kisara an unserer Aufgabe, an unserem Ziel zweifelt, beziehungsweise da Probleme sieht, dann haben wir leider echt ein Problem. Weil sie ist so die am ehesten den kühlen Kopf bewahren kann. Es handelt sich um Dive Dark-Baupläne mit einem zentralen Fahrstuhlschacht und mehreren kreisförmigen Bereichen. Das haben wir mittlerweile echt viele hier unten.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Danon mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danons again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danons probably won't be so quick to let their guards down. And there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah. I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danon and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Diese Scheiß-Eule, ne? Die
Now
geht
you
uns auf den
mention
Sack.
it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dana's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
Okay, Rinwell sagte, wenn sie ihren Hass überwinden kann, dann wird es auch jeder andere tun. Ich kann ihr leider da nicht hundertprozentig zustimmen. Es ist nicht so einfach, seinen Hass und seine Abneigung zu überkommen und hinter sich zu lassen. Es ist immerhin ein schwieriger Schritt. Vor allen Dingen, stell dir mal vor, du wirst 300 Jahre lang versklavt, terrorisiert und geknechtet. Das lässt du nicht einfach so hinter dir. Das kannst du nicht vergessen. Es ist ein Teil von dir. Das ist ein ausgewogener Hass. Das wirst du vielleicht in 2, 3 Generationen los. Also 2 ist vielleicht zu wenig.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us.
Oh, ja.
And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis after this is all over?
Verdammt, Stirn, du nimmst mir das vorweg, was ich sagen wollte.
Indeed. I have
Damn
fully
it.
accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I
Fuck,
realize that
ich
I
wollte das
speak for a
sagen.
lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why.
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't
Natürlich.
even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay. Ich starte mal gleich nach den Dialogen. Ich hatte einen ähnlichen Gedanken schon am Anfang beziehungsweise vor dem Gespräch zwischen den beiden. Mein Lösungsvorschlag für das Ganze wäre einfach in Dana und also für die Danäer und für die Renäer einfach starke Herrscher einzusetzen. Auf Dana musst du quasi ein Doppelgespann aus, ja, was heißt Doppelgespann, aber du wirst halt ein Doppelgespann aus Skiern und Alphen haben, beziehungsweise Alphen an der Spitze, aber Skier und Alphen sind. Ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, dass sie sich am Ende der Story trennen. Da ist, ich wäre enttäuscht, wenn die beiden nicht ein Paar wären. Und die Renäer führt kein Weg daran vorbei. Also für mich sind 3 Schicksale von unserer Heldengruppe bisher klar. Alphen und Shion werden zusammenbleiben und irgendwas werden wahrscheinlich die Danäer befrieden, beziehungsweise mit Dohalim zusammenarbeiten, damit die beiden Völker sich anfreunden. Dohalim wird dann auf Renna, beziehungsweise auf Lenegis sich um die Renäer kümmern. So, ist jetzt nur noch die Frage, Kisara könnte zurück nach Menesia gehen, aber ich habe eher so die Vermutung, dass sie mit Dohalim mitgeht, weil da ist irgendwas am Brodel und keine Ahnung. Ja, ich habe auch den Eindruck, dass Law und Rinno zusammenbleiben, aber was die machen, keine Ahnung. Bei Idioten.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memory started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
Natürlich ist das alles gerade zu
I
viel.
know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important. What I really care about. All I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me. To fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
Ich mag
What
Shions
about you,
Wandlung.
Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it, before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call, is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Okay, jetzt kommt wahrscheinlich wieder eine Zwischensequenz, oder?
Well, is everybody...
Okay, ich muss mal ganz kurz stoppen, damit ich nicht vergesse, worüber ich reden wollte. Beziehungsweise, wir machen das einfach am besten in der nächsten Folge. Ja. Dann sehen wir uns beim nächsten Mal. Vergesst nicht zu abonnieren und auch zu bewerten und zu kommentieren. Wichtig. Ja.